It's Jason from Liberty Bunker. So this is from Field Sports channel. I actually subscribe to their videos myself. I like a lot of their content. I'm not a hunter myself, although I do enjoy shooting rifles. I don't have a firearms license myself, but I do have a few air rifles that I plink around with, and I enjoy shooting proper rifles as well. And I really like the content Field Sports channel do. If you've seen some of my earlier videos, you see I like the countryside, I like getting out, so I quite like the content Field Sports channel do. So breaking, UK bans pigeon and crow shooting. The government has bowed to Chris Packham and is banning most pigeon, crow, gull and Canada goose shooting. Natural England, the government agency responsible, is revoking 3 general licences for controlling certain wild birds as of Thursday 25th of April 2019. So that's this year, it's a few days away. Not giving much warning on this one. Says the government in a statement. It adds these licences, GL 04, 05 and 06, cover 16 species of birds, including several members of the crow family, Canada goose, some gulls and pigeons. Chris Packham crowdfunded and launched a legal challenge called Wild Justice, the way licenses are issued, arguing the shooters are not acting lawfully. Government lawyers appear to have folded and let Packham have his way. So what do you think about this? This is under a Tory government as well. Supposedly the Tories are out to sort of protect the countryside, protect people that live in the countryside, protect farmers the way things are traditionally done. So they're changing the general licence. So the only way you'll be able to shoot pigeons going forward, pigeons and crows, will be over crop. They're removing the other general licences. We're going to make it a lot harder to justify shooting pigeons. Now, I can see this wild justice. This is all politically driven. You know, this is the thin end of the wedge. This is just an attack on people having firearms. Obviously, the government don't want people having firearms. The only people that basically left are, you know, farmers, and if you've got justified reasons, having a rifle is particularly hard to have firearms in the UK. This is the thin end of the wedge. It's a shame they're attacking the hunting community in this way. I say I'm not a hunter, but I was actually quite shocked when this popped up in my news feed. I think the general license, as someone that doesn't hunt, I think the general license works very well. You know, a lot of people in the countryside who do shotgun shooting, hunting pigeons. The general license just seems to work very well. You know, a lot of these pigeons are eaten. You know, pigeon meat is actually a very sustainable source of meat. It's a hell of a lot better than buying a chicken that's lived in a battery or lived in horrendous factory farm conditions all its life. Especially if you're eating these pigeons, it's a very sustainable, in my opinion, a very ethical way of sourcing meat. But this is the thin end of the wedge. Expect this kind of these kind of people, these kind of pressure groups, they'll be going after fishing, they'll be going after boxing, they want to ban rugby. This is the thin end of the wedge, so let's see what happens with this. Just very shocking that the general licence is being attacked in this way. I'm quite an urban person. I love getting out in the countryside, but I live in an urban environment at the moment. This doesn't affect me, so I'm not a hunter, but for all you people watching this video that are hunters, this is very shocking stuff. People really need to kind of get out there and make some noise, because this is under a Tory government. If this was under Labour or a left-wing government, I could say, you know, okay, well, it's the lefties. They don't like people having freedoms. They don't like people being out. They don't like farmers. They don't like people with shotguns. So they don't like. So of course they're going to ban it. But this is shocking under a Tory government, essentially revoking most parts of the general licence, especially for commonly hunted birds. You know, but pest birds essentially. You know, pigeons are shot for multiple reasons. Protecting crops, protecting damage, protecting roofs, and a lot of people harvesting the meat from these birds as well, which is a lot better than factory farm stuff. So this is quite shocking. I would actually expect to see quite large protests off the back of this. They seem to have just snuck this through last minute. Literally in days, you're talking about revoking large parts of the general licence for these commonly shot birds, pigeons and crows. So it's quite shocking. This is the thin end of the wedge. Expect this kind of treatment, as I say, that they're going to be coming after fishing next, and not going to want people boxing, not going to want people playing rugby. All these things have been mentioned before. This is the more militant part of the left-wing agenda, to just basically ban all these things. So what are your thoughts on this? Is it a good thing that the general licence has been revoked? If you believe in that, give me a thumbs down. But if you support the general licence and you think this is an attack, basically people that live in rural communities, you know, this is essentially the sort of egotistical Westminster, Corbynista type movements. People don't really understand how the countryside works. They don't really understand why birds are hunted and the benefits and things like that. They don't really understand. They live in their little Westminster bubble, but they're happy to ban things that have huge consequences for people living in the countryside. So if you're along those lines and you think this revoking of the large parts of the general licence is insanity, give me a thumbs up. Anyways, Jason from Liberty Bunker signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.